I believe we are back for session 3, everybody. And as I'm looking over my notes, let's see what happened last time. It was the 4th of Simswald, and we had a fresh start at Fort Vulgar. Celenia accepted a contract to escort Froby, a mossling pilgrim, into the thorny forest, and the journey through the Nagwood was a test of endurance for sure. Heavy rain turned the briars into a maze, and we spent much of the day lost. Yes. And then we faced a pair of galoshes, and these creatures nearly claimed me with their magic, but uh, we kind of burst out of there. I remember just running away, and I was able to break through the trance, and I pulled the mossling along with me to safety. By the morning of the 5th, we reached the sacred grove that Froby was looking for, and he began to do his ritual, but then 6 spectral shadows appeared at the edge of the clearing. And so these shades, they are bearing a haunting resemblance. But I rolled that they have a haunting resemblance to Celenia herself. That is to be seen until they get closer. So, I believe I'm at level 2. I think I'm at level 2. Yes, I am at level 2. Just checking my notes. After you have like a session where you did heroic acts, I believe that's how it works in not Dolmenwood, Scarlet Heroes. So I'm at level 2 now, so my Fray die can harm these creatures. And again, the Fray die are the dice that are used to attack like minions or those around you, which help you out as a solo hero because you're by yourself. And so usually you would have, your compatriots to help you out, but you don't have yourself. So we have this cool Fray die mechanic to help us out. Help us out thin the herd a little bit, make it a little bit more balanced and fair as we are alone on this journey. So I really like that mechanic. It's just 1d8 because I'm a fighter, so I'll do that extra damage. I think my main attack will be ineffective because they're shadows and I have a longsword. I think they'll just pass right through it. Do I have a torch maybe? I have torches, fire damage probably. We'll see. So I rolled to see what their reaction was, and it was indifferent. So I don't have to fight, which I might lean into. However, they are starting to linger dangerously close to Froby. So I could parlay safest route. I have some traits here on my character sheet. I have smooth talker, stealthy, and guild bounty hunter, which will give me a +3. Maybe I'll let them know this grove is claimed. I urge you to drift elsewhere. So let's parlay. It's going to be 2d8 plus my charisma stat. My charisma is a +0, so I'm not going to get anything there. But I'm going to use a trait. I'm going to use Smooth Talker, which just gives me a +1. So that's going to be 2d8 +1, and then we will go from there. Okay, 2d8 +1. Oof. That is a 10. I believe I needed an 11. So what happens is they do not retreat, right? So instead, their gaze is, it's 6 figures. They fix on the glowing moss, Froby. The parlay attempt failed to convince them to leave. And maybe now they see me as an obstacle rather than an authority. So I see the shadows begin to glide forward, and they close the distance from 120 feet to 60 feet. And the air around them it grows colder, I'll say. And the vibrant moss, it starts to dim as they approach. So wherever they glide, starts to get colder and dimmer. And my longsword likely will not work with them. It will pass through these spirits. but I think I can use fire. I think fire can affect the incorporeal, right? Fire deals 1d4 damage. I have torches. It's not that much damage though. I need to roll like a 4 to do 2 points. They're 60 feet away. So they'll reach the center of the grove in one more round. I will use, we're not in combat technically, but what I'll do is I'll take out a torch and light it to prepare. I could use, these things are dangerous because what they can do is their touch drains strength. So if my strength hits 0, I would die and then become a shadow myself. I could use Defy Death, which is a mechanic in Scarlet Heroes. And I believe I can re-roll. I'm going to double check that rule. You know what? Let's go with Defy Death. So the way that Defy Death works is you can use it to avoid the consequences of a failed saving throw or escape a situation that would otherwise result in certain catastrophe. So, to Defy Death, the hero rolls a number of 1d4 damage dice equal to their character level. So I would roll 2 d4, and I would take damage, and then like the GM decides what the consequence is, or like how you succeed. So the damage is then applied to my hit points. I can endure that look. I have 13 hit points. As I leveled up, I got a little bit more health. So I can do it, but this gets more tricky the more you use it. So like the second time you use it, I have to roll 1d6s instead of 1d4s, and then the die size then increases to d8, d10, and then d12, and a maximum of d12. So it resets when I succeed in like conquering the adventure or give up and seek glory elsewhere. So that's what happens there. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to roll 2d4. And hopefully I roll low. I'm wanting 2 1s. Let's go. Okay, I rolled a 4, a 2 to 5. I got 1 point of damage, so I go down to 12. Okay, so then we got to decide, what happens? How do the circumstances allow me to succeed? Though the book says the circumstances may not be entirely unmixed good fortune. Okay, so because of that, because the Defy Death mechanic helped me out here, the shadows are held at bay. And the grove that we're in, it remains quiet for Froby to finish his work. We hear the mosslings chanting, it reaches, and then it's finished. He tips a pot of that glowing compost into the center. The ground kind of shakes. Mud starts to swirl, absorbing that compost. And then, after all that hard work, we see Froby collapses, panting but grinning. And he lets us know it is done. The mother root is fed. The rot here, it will be good rot now. Healing rot. So, it is done. I have successfully escorted Froby and his compost, whatever that is. Now, the shadows, they have faded back into. So, the immediate area is safe. So let's see what's next. The procedure checklist. I don't think I did we got to get back to Fort Vulgar to collect the pay. I only have 2 travel points remaining for the day, so I spent 4 just to search and find the grove. So we got to backtrack out of the forest. So let's camp here. Don't have enough travel points to. So I'm going to make a foraging, which is going to be 2d8. I'm going to use one of my traits. I'm going to use my bounty hunter trait, which gives me a +3. And the difficulty is 11. It's an average difficulty. The rain, it's still raining here, so it is kind of making it, it's making it slippery. It's hard to spot tracks or fruit. And you know what I like to do in Alba Road? And it's in 603. It is raining. I like to add a little rain effects, a little reminder of what the weather is like. So let's see what we find. If we find anything, if I can pass this check, let's go. Oh wait, no, a +1 because I can add my wisdom modifier. That's an 11. Yes. I'm able to find. Well, okay, there's like specific things that you can do when you're foraging. I'm going to look in. God, this is heavy. Okay, so I have the book out. This is a thick boy. Okay, so what the foraging procedure, you decide to forage. So the party decides to forage for food. Done. Chance of finding food. I'll just skip that. Okay, so determine. We have the general result. I'm going to see if it's a fungi, or plants. 6. Okay, that's a 4. So it is a plant. And then I'm going to roll a d20 to determine the type of plant. It's going to be an edible plant. Okay, so that's a 12. I rolled for an edible plant. A lank leaf root. Tangled root balls of spiny bog shrub. Cleaning out the dirt from among the roots is time consuming. Once boiled, the roots dissolve into a starchy pudding with a pleasant smoky flavor. Let's see how much we find. I'm going to roll a d6. 1. What is it called? It's called a lank leaf. So after that, we are going to camp. So we have our camp set up. There is the heavy rain, so that is going to impose a penalty for sure. So because it is raining, it's going to be making a fire difficult. So I am also going to secure the perimeter. So this is the camp setup. I'm going to do 2d8 plus 4. Again, average 11. The rain increases the difficulty, but the grove offers natural coverage. So let's see how this goes. So 2d8 plus 4. And this is for camp setup and security. Okay, nice. That is a success. I rolled a 14. And so now I was able to set up a fire. I think, what that could represent is that the grove has like thick enough leaves and shrubbery and different areas for cover. So we have little droplets of water, of course, but I think I'm still able to manage a type of smokeless fire and secure the site. So I will sleep well. I hope. Let's see if there's no encounter. So I'm going to roll 1d6. If I roll a 1, something finds me. If I roll a 2 through 6, I am safe. But if we go back to 603, what are the chances of an... As I look back in the book, I'm at 603. Ooh, that's actually a 3 in 6 chance. So it's not a 1, it's a 1. A 1 through 3, something finds me. A 4 through 6, I am safe. So I secured the camp. So I rigged chimes of like dry bone. I have tripwires, okay, across few approaches to the hollow. So the fire is small and hidden. So I won't be surprised if something approaches. That's the benefit. So if I'm able to sleep through the night, I can heal that 2 HP, which would bring me back up to full health. So this hex is a notorious haunt for the Nag Lord's minions and other things. So it's far more dangerous than the open road. So we have a 50-50 chance of an encounter. So I'm going to roll that 1d6. 1, 4 through 6, let's go. Okay, nice. So I'm going to close this big book, set it to the side for now. I was able to sleep through the night and get through it with safety, relative safety. And that will end day 5. We are now on day 6, and day 6 is called Eggfast. Today is Eggfast Day, which is like... Eggfast is like Friday, if we really... So, the night passes peacefully. Sacred Grove is now cleansed by Froby's ritual, and we are sleeping soundly. And we wake up refreshed. I healed the 2 HP, so fully rested, full health, and then we are going to return to Fort Vulgar. I think Froby is with us still. He's going to come back to civilization, and then I will collect my reward. So we break camp. Okay. Has the rain stopped? So morning and weather, that is the first thing. It's a new day. So we go back up to rolling to see what the weather is. Let's see what that means. Ooh, 7. In the spring, it's warm and sunny. I'll take it. And we have a 3 in 6 chance of getting lost. Oh, if I roll a 1, 2, or 3, we'll get lost. But I have the hunter trait, so that means I can re-roll once to find the path again. This is going to be interesting. Oh, let's roll that. Come on. Oh, nice. Rolled a 6. Lost. Okay. Now, random encounter. As we're traveling back, do we find anything? Again, there's a 3 in 6 chance. 1 through 3. I'm gonna re-roll that d6. Let's go. Oh, another 6. Safe travel. Oh my god. Froby, weird. Okay. So we arrive back at Fort Vulgar, but is the fort as we left it? I'm gonna roll 1d20. This is where the chaos factor comes in. So we are testing the scene. We are arriving, we're cresting down over the hill, and arriving back in Fort Vulgar. But is the scene as in this table? The higher the better. So I'm gonna roll a d20. Let's see. Okay, that's an 11. So yes, the scene expected. Okay, this is a good day. This is how I rolled in my first session. There we go. Okay, so we make it back. I deliver Froby back to the docks. The mossling, they bows to me. And I report to the dockmaster, Wiglow Bogleman, at his cottage. He grunts. He looks satisfied that I didn't die, hands over my pay. 50 gold pieces, thank you very much. Okay, so those 2 jobs, I have about 80 now, so I have 81. I have one more job this one's a big one. This one would offer 500. But I only have 1 left, and I think at this point I'm going to generate 3 more and then add them to the job board. Doesn't mean I'll take them, but I'm interested to see what gets rolled up. And then okay, so I made those rolls and I check the board and I see some pretty good jobs. New jobs posted. There is a client who needs escort help. He needs protection while he performs a ritual similar to what Froby needed, and that is 200 gold. And then I have apothecary, Maldwort, escort, another escort mission. That 100 gold pieces, lowest pay, but likely lowest risk. Good for a quick cash grab if I want to play it safe. And then there is the big one. I look on the board and there is Lady Sybil of the Frost. The mission is to hunt/destroy, and the target is some stolen goods. A massive water troll named Old Mossback capsized her barge and swallowed her casket of starlight jewels, and you must cut it out of its belly. But that is a troll, okay? I just got to level 2. I would likely die. That is south in Hex 605. You know, it's right below Fort Vulgar. So if I move us, we are back down to 604, of course. And so her job is right here, right beneath. But I'm gonna hold off on that one. If I could get to level 3, that would be great. I could buy oil maybe and like set it on fire from afar and just like maybe burn it. I think trolls like regenerate. They're hard. I'm gonna hold off on the troll. So I take the page off the bounty board and I go meet Sir Osric the Gaunt. He's a human commander here. And so he is the commander, so I make my way up to Keep Volgular, the guards at the gate. This is the serious nature of this posting, and they escort me immediately to the commander. And Sir Osric the Gaunt Hazelmeyer is a man of odd proportions. He's tall, broad-shouldered, but his face is so flushed. And he greets a robust, bone-rattling slap on my back. Slaps me, brave soul! Hob, that treacherous curry, fled in the night. Took young Pip, a ward of the Duke. I will sworn to protect. If the boy is harmed, just bring the boy back. Bring Hob's head if you must, but the boy is paramount. Do this and you'll have your gold. Oh, yeah, so what I do get is I get 300 gold pieces from this and a signed letter of marque from Sir Osric. It's like a political favor. Oh, right. It grants me legal immunity for their crimes in the region. I would never, ever. Let's do it. Job accepted. Target. Sergeant Hob seems to be trained. He might have his own minions, so. But our main objective, we gotta rescue Pip. A child, a ward of Fort Vulgar. And so they hear rumor that he is at the caves behind the Falls of Naon. And I've been there before. I was wondering, was it this playthrough? Might have been another one. Might have been another playthrough. But we're at 604. Falls of Naon are right ahead. North. So what we're going to do is we're going to end the day, day 6. So we are now at day 7, and this day is called Sunning. So this is Sunning Day. So like Saturday. So we head out to the Falls of Naon. We set out early, heading west along the Fort Road. And again, the roar of the falls becomes audible miles before the roll for the weather. That is a 6. I don't believe that is too bad. For a weather check, I know 7 is quite... Okay, so I checked. That is a 6 that I rolled, and it's balmy and clear. So it's a little moist outside, but other than that, Okay, so we have to select course and calculate the travel points. I have 8. But this is a craggy forest, so it is severe. Traveling in a craggy forest is not ideal. There's lots of broken terrain, lots of cliffs. Kind of makes sense as we get closer to the falls. So we have a 3 in 6 chance, once again, 50-50 chance of getting lost and have... So it costs 4 travel points, and I have 8. So I will reach the falls today with 4 travel points to spare. And then, but the hazards of the hex, it's 3 and 6. But I have that hunter bonus for getting lost, getting lost is like, get lost. I'd rather get in a fight than get lost. So let's see. Getting lost, I'm gonna roll. Let's go high. Yes. Oh my god. So we are not lost. After that, we see if there is a random encounter. And as we're making our way there, I'm gonna roll again. And that is a 2. Okay, so we are rolling for an encounter. I'm gonna roll 1d8. Let's see what the encounter type is. And this indicates which sub-table to consult as well. So, it is daytime, and we are traveling in the wild. So I'm gonna roll a d8 to see what it is. Okay, that's a 3, so it is a mortal. The encounter type is... So, and then we roll for the creature, so that is 1d20 on the indicated sub-table. So it is immortal. Okay, got it. Rolling that d20. Let's see what it is. That's a 7, so it is a friar. 1d6. Oh, it's a level 1 friar. It's a person. They have 1 hit die. Now, it's an encounter. It doesn't have to be a fight. Always have to remember that. So it's a little guy. He's walking. We cross his paths. Okay, so I don't always have to be afraid. Could be a little guy. Okay. So, number encountered to... This is the dice roll are listed after the creature's name in... Oh, okay, so I did Friar 1d6. So there's a certain amount of them traveling together. Okay, there's 2. Now I'm going to roll to see if I'm surprised. 1 to 2 I am. Rolled a 4, so I'm not surprised. Okay, so and the encounter distance. So that's 2d6 times 30 feet. 7, 210 feet away. That's pretty far away. Not only am I not surprised, but they're very far away. So I don't know if it's an encounter per se, but I mean, reaction. If the creature's potential reaction to the PCs is unclear, we can make a reaction roll. So they could be hostile. Let's see what their activity is. I'm going to roll a d20. There are 2 tables here. 5. Oh, they're dying or wounded. Oh. So what happens, it sounds like, as I kind of there's a break in the undergrowth. About 210 feet away, I spot 2 figures, and they are slumped against a mossy boulder in their rough robes of friars of the Plurtine Church, of course, and they are not moving. See, the grass around them is stained dark. They appear to be... So they are incapacitated for sure, but I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised by them, but whatever did this, like maybe even Sergeant Hobb and his band, or maybe it's a local beast watching. And I know that Hobb is a trained soldier. This could be bait. I'm gonna scan for an amp just in case. And this is where I will also add in the chaos solo table. So we're testing the scene. So we're depending on the context. This next scene could be in a different location or involve a different focus. So that's what I'm gonna roll. Is the scene as expected? Like, is this just 2 people who encountered a beast? Potentially. So I'm gonna roll that d20. Oh, I rolled a 20. Jesus Christ. Natural 20. And it says, yes, the scene starts as expected. Well, there's no starts as... I don't know what's expected. So I do want to scan for an ambush. There's like the stealth approach. I could do that. I'm pretty stealthy. Let's scan for ambush. So before rushing to their aid, or glints of steel in the brush, or some type of unnatural silence. So as I go to kind of secure the area, it's going to be difficulty of 11. A 10. Uh-oh. So I'm 250 feet away. 210. I have a longbow. I'm in longbow range. I failed to confirm if the area is safe, so I have to assume that it's hostile. Rushing across the open ground to try to help with first aid would make me an easy target for... And so I could go like a stealth approach instead of running. I could try to creep closer to verify the threat level before exposing myself. If there is an ambush, they won't see me until it's too late, but I don't know, if Hobbs' men are maybe baiting a trap, I can turn the table. So we could do the stealth approach, or I can run. I could just risk, run, try to help them, or I can... I don't know. Let's see. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do the stealth approach. So that's just 2d8 plus 3. Okay, that's a 14. Nice. So that is a success. So what I'm going to do again is I'm going to roll on the testing the scene table. And this time I'm going to add a bane. So 1 bane is unlikely with 25% chance of starting as expected. So you can add more banes if there are other reasons things might be interrupted. So basically it's just rolling with disadvantage. So I'm going to roll 2d20 this time and take the lower. So that's a 3. So if I ask the question, is the scene as expected? I rolled a 3. 3 is no. Hostile forces oppose you, or an extra is involved. So what is an extra? An extra is present or significant in some way. Pick the most obvious extra or randomize one. So like an extra is probably an NPC. And you can roll for an extra, a quick NPC or extra, their role. Who's around? I could roll a d20 and see who's... If we do go with extra, that would be a guard or fiend. And their descriptor, let's roll again. 3. They are steady or... Ooh, okay. So what happens is my stealth check was a success, but it was the chaos factor adds this twist into it. an extra is involved. So I move like quick. I'm like a ghost through the crags, and I make no sound. But the scene is not as it first appeared. It is a trap, but a disciplined one. So there is a steady guard leaning against a mossy rock face, and he's wearing the chainmail of Fort Vulgar. But you could see that the insignia has been scratched off. He is steady as we rolled. Weapon ready. He's watching the dying friars with cold professional patience. Looks to be loyal to Hobbs' orders. But because of my successful stealth check, he has not seen me. So I have one enemy. I have one fighter. He's unaware. I do have a surprise round. I could take a full round of actions before he can react. The friars are still slumped against the boulder. I could take the shot. I am a hunter. As I've moved in closer, I'm gonna fire my longbow. Okay, and then I will roll my fray die because this is a one hit die enemy. Okay, so I'm going to roll. I'm actually going to roll 1d20 plus 10. In Scarlet Heroes, I want to get a 20 or over in order to hit. And I add the enemy's AC. So the enemy is wearing chainmail, and so their AC is 5. So I'll add that in. And then the other 5 is coming from a whole bunch of things. Like I have a +2 and stuff for like my decks, and there's a few other things. But anyway, it's 1d20 plus 10. If the result is 20 or higher, I hit. And then I'm going to roll my fray die as well. 3 plus 10. Yes, 21. And then I'm going to roll my fray die, which is just 1d8. Okay, nice. Okay, so that was my longbow, which is just 1d. The higher the better. Oh, seriously? Wow. I think that does nothing. I think the fray die did more damage. Yeah, a roll of 1 is no damage at all. Even if you hit and then you roll a 1, that's unfortunate. Oh wait, a longbow is 1d8, not 1d6. Let's roll 1d8. Let's go. Gosh, and I think that does 1 point of damage. So I lock in my arrow. It flies true. It catches the sentinel, that deserter, whoever it is, right in the throat, just as you see him like trying to stifle a yawn. It crumples. So the fray die, I rolled a 5, so that did 1 point. And then the longbow, rolled a 2, that's another 1 point. So 2 points. And I targeted his 1. So the immediate threat is the roar of the falls kind of masks the slight thud of his body. The 2 friars are still slumped against the boulder, oblivious. And I get closer to them, I can see that their breathing is shallow and ragged. I have a brief window before Hob or other people come to check on this position, and the friars are fading fast. Saving them could yield something. I don't have healing magic. I don't think feeding them will help. Looting, and I could loot their bodies. Look at them. No. I'm gonna do a first aid. See how this goes. So first aid check. Difficulty of 11. So 2d8 plus 4. Okay, got a 17. So I move my hands deftly. I'm applying pressure to the chest wound there's an older one and there's a younger one. It has like a head injury with strips from their robe. And the older friar like gasps. His eyes start to flutter open. He clutches my arm. He says, "The falls behind the water." And he points a trembling finger. "He took the boy inside. He seeks to sell the lad to the fairies." And then he coughs violently. "There are 5 more inside." And then he's like too weak. He's stable, but then he falls unconscious. They won't die today, but they cannot walk. So, turn my attention to the dead guard I dropped with my arrow. I'm going to loot the body. So it looks like Hob is in there. Hob has numbers. He has some men, he has himself, but I do have the element of surprise and I have the so I'm going to try to do a stealth entry. the sound of the water is certainly masking my movement. So if I sneak in, I might get like a surprise round to take out another guard or Hob himself before they can react. So I'm going to use that. I'm going to sneak in, of course, 2d8. And you know what? The falls are helping me out. I'm going to say that's going to give me another +2 bonus. It's going to be 2d8 plus 5 versus the difficulty 11. Or it could be a thing of like the difficulty is it the same difficulty? Maybe we'll leave the difficulty because it could go down to 9, but I'll leave it at 11. But I'll get that bonus from just the loud sounds of the water. I could try to lure them out, set a trap and lure them out. I don't know, because the falls are already so loud. I'm going to use that to my advantage. So let's do that. Okay. I was a little worried because I rolled a 1 and a 7. So. Oh, and what I looted from the body was 2 gold pieces. Okay. So that was a success. So I slipped behind this thundering curtain of the falls. The water is freezing, but I move and everything, it fades to a dull kind of vibrating thrum as I step into the dry cavern beyond. So now I'm in this cavern. And it's this wide, natural cavern. It has basalt and glowing mushrooms, fog and smoke, and there is still some water that can be heard throughout. There is a campfire. It's not the usual orange color. It is just, and we see them. The enemies are in here. We see Sergeant Hobb. He's wearing his chainmail. He stands near the fire. It looks like he's arguing with his men. And then we see Pip. He's bound and gagged near a pile of supplies. Abs looks terrified but unharmed. At the back of the cave, there is a massive set of double doors carved from, but I'm not here to deal with that right now. That probably is going to lead into some Cold Prince type shenanigans. I can't deal with the Cold Prince at level 2. So I want to set a trap. I'm currently hidden in the shadows of the entrance tunnel. I'm about 40 feet from this fire. Hobb and his men are distracted, so I have the initiative. I have the surprise. I can make the drop on them. I want to set a trap before engaging. So I have flint and steel. I have 6 torches. I have 50 feet of rope. I can make like a tripwire. So I can like rig a line ankle height across the entrance, and when they charge, they have to make some type of save or fall prone. So that would give me advantage on attacks. So can I make a fire trap? I have flint and steel. I have a standard adventuring kit. Does that mean I feel like I need some type of oil. I don't think I have oil. Unless there's oil inside of the standard. Okay, so it looks like I don't have oil, and I don't think like the flint and steel those are for lighting the campfire, but I can do a fire trap. I'm going to do okay, I'm gonna make the tripwire. So this is making the trap. I'm stealthy so far. Difficulty 11. Let's go. Oh yes. Yeah. Okay, so I'm working quickly. I'm working quietly in the shadows of the cave mouth. I'm using all my rope, the twine that I have, and I rig a very taut tripwire across the narrowest path leading from the fire to my position. It is nearly invisible in this like dim blue light of this magical fire, however they made it. So they're still arguing by it, and they have not seen me yet. So I am ready. The trap is set. Now I need to draw them in. So when they cross the line, they have to make a physical save or they will fall prone. So I prone targets, I gain advantage on melee attacks against them. So path is narrow. So I have advantage. They will likely try to charge once I let at least one arrow fly, which is what I'm gonna do. That's what I want. Let's do it. So just want to double check. Yes, enemies in Scarlet Heroes do make saving throws. So they are used as usual, to resist sorcery, evade random misfortune, and withstand other hazards. So, the difficulty for an enemy to beat is always 9 plus their hit die, or level of the hero causing the saving throw. So, okay, so I'm gonna make my opening shot. Let's do this. 18. Ooh. Level 2. Hobbit has 2 hit die. I'm gonna roll my fray die. Hopefully that will do something. No! Darn it! Should I use Defy Death? I really want this to be a good opening shot. That was unfortunate. So, as soon as my arrow flies, they scramble. Hob and the nearest deserter, they will try, likely to charge me first, running straight into the tripwire, which was the plan. Let's go. And so they have to make a roll. So it's going to be Hob and one of the deserters. There's 5 of them. So the deserter will make a... Deserter 1 will make a roll. A save. So it's 2d8 plus 1. And the difficulty is 11 for both. Oh, I rolled a 10. Listen, I roll well for me. But the bad side is that I also roll well. But... one of the deserters fails, so he's trapped. And then I also want Hob to fail, so I'm gonna re-roll. So he, only one of them is prone. So with that roll of 18, that is a miss. So my arrow like sparks off the stone. And the fray die does nothing at all, so that was a bust. Deserter fails. As I said, he trips over the wire. I see him hit the floor hard, but Sergeant Hobbs succeeded. He hurdles the wire. I think he saw his man fall. Saw it just in time. Surprising agility for a man in chainmail. And Hob shouts a warning. The bandits scrabble. Oh, not they don't scrabble. The bandits sit down to play Scrabble. No, the bandits scramble. And as you know, one of them caught his foot, face plants into a rock. So he's charging. He covered 30 feet, stopping just 10 feet away from me. Sword drawn. The other 4 deserters are scrambling to their feet. Not other 4, actually. 3, because 1 came. Yes, they're actually 4, because 1 came with Hob. Hob is 10 feet away. 1 is prone. The others are 40 feet back. Me, I'm holding my longbow. I think that is a question to be answered in the next session. Do I fight? Do I run? Do I sit down to play Scrabble with them? We'll see next time. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And I will see everybody in session 4. See how this goes down. I'm sure it'll be just fine.